I don't regret having my children. I love my children. I just wish I had had them with a better person. He would be drinking in the house, and I would come home and I'd literally find like him waiting at the door with a bottle just ready to beat me up. His drinking habits just went from 0 to 100. I mean, I used to have very long hair and I cut it all because of him, actually. He used to like drag me across the floor like a mop, beat me up, all in front of my first son, to be sincere. Like, he'd pick up literally anything. So the time that I got cut here, my ear nearly split in half at the top, actually. And that's just because he picked up a maraca, which was a plastic toy of my son's, and he literally thrashed me. He pinned me down to the bed and he thrashed me with that thing until my ear like cut here at the top. His way of acting and resolving issues was physical. My name is Mzungu Mjanjez, also known as ADB, from Beleni, but I changed my name juu hiyo ADB mulikuwa naniuliza maswali mingi. Inamaanisha nini? What does this mean? What does this mean? But otherwise, my name is Amy Brown. I was born in Nanyuki. Mimi ni Mkenya. Mkenya kabisa, Mkenya pure. I was born in Nanyuki, and then, yeah, vile tu nimesema, I came to Karen na wazazi wangu, of which they still live in Karen, and currently I live in Lavington. And yeah, that's practically me. I'm a single mom of 2 boys. But maisha bado tunang'ang'ana nayo na tunasukuma vile inafaa.
Esther Sukari, you are the reason why I'm still in ODM. Otherwise, I could have left for UDA. For sure, for sure.
So currently, I'm doing content creation. Hiyo ni kazi yangu. To make you guys happy, laugh behind your screens. Kama wewe ni mtu wa Arsenali, na bado tuko JMS na hatushuki, usisahau. But before that, I was doing hospitality for 12 years. And then last year is when I did a year of finance. But my sabu is not my thing. So in November last year is when in fact, I was put in a situation I had to either decide to do content creation or to do my job, because they didn't want me to do content at the same time. So you know what? I just amuad and I said, I'm also tired of being employed, and this is something new and something I actually enjoy doing. So let me just proceed with my content and quit my job. And that's what I did. People take me as a non-Kenyan, actually, to be sincere. Because when they see me, si wanaona tu mini rangia dao. And then, because like I don't automatically speak Kiswahili when I meet somebody, like I'll sit there and I'll ask them, how are you? Or they'll ask me what's up, where are you going? Like even just today when I reached here, people were just asking me, where are you going exactly? And then I responded in Kiswahili, and then they were like, ay, kwani wewe naye unaelewa lugha yetu? Yeah, lugha yetu. And I was like, ay, mimi ni moja wenu, and then I was like, and then I think he saw like my Kenyan badge anyway. Well, I think there have been several occasions where like I'm just seated, either I'm waiting for like a bike to come pick me up or an Uber, and I'm in a restaurant waiting for a waiter to come. And then there's some guys either in a corner or just watu tu yani tumesimama na wao. Like, ay, angalia huyu mzungu. Hey, nasi amebeba. Kwanza most of the time wanasemanga wazungu hawananga haga. So there I am, and with whatever I'm wearing, and and it's always the first thing that like I hear most people saying is like, ay, na amebeba huyo. Na kona sijui maindumbu. These good mazguembes. So then I just listen, and then after that I'm like, ay, wadau surely. Wakasema, ay, kumbe umekaa tu ukitusikiza. I'm like, yeah, I have, man. And they're like, ay, wewe ni Mkenya kabisa. It's always good vibes in the end. It always ends up as good vibes. Whatever they were talking about before, the whole story changes, yeah. So to me, what triggers me the most is that the mentality of Kenyans is so... It's just the same thing every other time. Ukiniona leo kama mzungu, kesho utaona mzungu mwingine, but the mentality will just be the same. Yani, wako na pesa. They've come from somewhere else even if it's a Mzungu born in Kenya, raised in Kenya, ameoleka hadi na Mkenya, but yani maybe hajatembea na yeye hiyo siku. Ukimwona tu hivi, mentality is just like the signature three things most of the time, huyu hawezi kuwa Mkenya. But sina hiyo yani that judgment. Most of the people, by the way, let me give you this insight. Most of the Wakenya huko nje, my fans and like followers and all that, wanna assume mi natoka either sijui Githurai, sijui Mathare, sijui huyu ni Wakayole. Wakiniona too on the screens, even comment section, most of the time you'll see like people just saying huyu ni Njeri, yani dema mtaa, huyu ni Wakayole, huyu ni wawapi. So I think just even if it was in actual fact that I was living in such a place, it wouldn't like ingewashtua because mi ni Mkenya, And I think just the way that I've put myself together, na vile wamenizoea, I talk, associate, yani I associate with kila mtu, kama weni wa mtaa, if you're maybe a CEO of a company, I'll treat you the same way, So, yani, mi sinaga hiyo pressure kusema tu ukweli. We're all human anyway, and we're all ngangana na hii maisha. It's not easy, but at the same time, you can't give somebody higher respect juu na ofisi, I don't know, in Kileleshwa, and less respect to somebody who maybe is selling mandazis on the side of the road to jenga for their family in the same, like, tuseme the same complex na hiyo CEO umeingia kwa hiyo ofisi yake, because like, what's the difference, They're getting their money, and she's also, or he or she is also ngangana kupata pesa yake pia. So we've got to treat everybody the same way. So basically, yes, I was born in Nanyuki, and I think the reason that I was born in Nanyuki, or what got me there, was that my dad's dad was in the British Army in Batuk over there. So my dad was actually born in Coventry in the UK, but aliletwa huku na wazazi wake akiwa, I think it was like 6 months. So he was born there and let's say raised in Kenya, Uko, in Nanyuki, because of his dad being in the British Army. And then my mom was also born in Kenya, and her dad was born in South Africa, but he was also doing some stuff with the government at the time. So to be sincere, sijui vile walipatana with my mom. But I think it happened to be in one of the sports clubs, Zuko, in Nanyuki. At the time, my mom, I think, was either on a holiday, or she was accompanying her dad, Uko Jew, and my dad was obviously based there, Juu Babayake. And that's where I happened to be conceived. And like, literally, yeah, I was born in Nanyuki, and I stayed there until I was around 3 years old, I think. My brother was also born there. I think after that, my parents moved to Nairobi, and then where my mom's mom was living was where now currently my parents actually live. It's been like a family house for, I don't know, the last like 50 years, I think. And then, yeah, we moved there. My parents, obviously, my dad opened a garage. He's a mechanic. My mom was working at Banda School just up the road as the PA secretary for, I think, around 26 years, Uko. So I schooled in Nairobi. I went to Banda for primary school, and I was in Hillcrest for secondary school. Yeah, and then basically that's just been life, like living in Nairobi. I haven't been back to Nanyuki, can you imagine, since Nikue tu mdogo. But I'm hoping on visiting back there again so I can go and rekindle some childhood memories and bring them back to now adult life, and maybe also take my kids there to go and see, where their mama was born. We never used to travel a lot when I was younger. But as like I grew up, I started, I think, questioning my parents, like, is this our home? Are we moving back? Do we belong here? When you're young, you're naive, juizi vitu, yani you're just there because wazazi wako pia. So like, no, like, this is home. We were born here, like guka ako, shosho ako, we're all here. So yeah, this is home. So when you start explaining that to people at the same time, like as I grew up, they were like, ay, hapana, yani how, kwani what do your parents do? Where do they originate from? Hapa sio kwenu, you have to go back. And then, to be actually sincere, I haven't even gone back to the UK since I was 7 years old. The last time I was there was when I was 7 years old. Nata sitamani kurudi huko. Kenya is home, and I'm happy with my home. So whilst I was growing up, I think I had a passion for cooking, tangu nikiwa mdogo. So I think it drove me to want to have, tuseme biashara yangu, to have like a hotel or to be like a business owner of something to do with the hospitality industry. But as time went by and I actually got myself into the industry, I got to realize how much time it takes up of your life. Yani, you have zero social life once you're in the hospitality industry, especially for, well, I can't say the position only of that I was doing, because I was a manager in the industry for that long, which takes up 90% of my day. You don't get enough rest. You don't have enough time to, to socialize, take a break from actually being employed by somebody and just be yourself. So after that, I got an opportunity to now go into finance, but I am really not a person to go and sit behind a computer all day and sijui kutafuta clients na, I don't know, respond to emails. I really tried. It took a lot out of me. I felt actually even more drained. You're not walking around like I was in the hospitality industry. I think that was actually a pro of the hospitality industry, is you get a lot of connections. You get to meet different people from different places, different generations, different backgrounds. So that's a pro. But the con is that it takes all your time. In finance, you don't meet anybody. Unakaa tu kwa computer, you have zero life as well. Yani, it's macho on the screen and that's it. Tukimaliza your day, you go back home. And to me, because I guess I wasn't used to it, and then also I've just never been a fan of sitting behind a computer, tuseme tu kweli. It was mentally draining me as well, because even though it's like an 8 to 5 job, it's not something I enjoyed it at all. And then, kazi unafanya, you're meant to enjoy it, it makes time move faster and you'll put your 100% effort into it. But if it's something that you're like being forced to do, or something unaona you're doing it but you're not enjoying it, the same output is not what you're going to give, and maybe not what is expected of you, right? So nikaona, okay, let me stop. I was called by Mjaka Fine to come and do my first content video with her in a restaurant. She needed some British speaking lady, but in the end nikaingiza tu Kiswahili yangu, nikashtua watu kidogo.
And that triangular pastry that you guys sell.
Triangular
pastry.
Mandazi.
Yes, that one. Mandazi, please.
Mandazi and the small soda.
Kindly.
Are you sure that one is what you want?
That's exactly what I want. Bring me my order.
Colonizers.
Sorry?
Sorry, I mean, let me bring...
Yeah, please, right away.
And after that, I saw it's actually a fun thing to do. I guess she inspired me, and at the same time, the whole process of being totally nervous before actually being on set, what am I saying? What am I doing? I've never done this before. Is it something that I'll be able to do? She was like, you just flow with it. Whatever comes, just let's just do it. And I did the first one, and then after that, I went to Nicky Big Fish, and I did some pranks with him as well. Na nikaona tu, it's fun. It's something that I really enjoy doing. Then at the same time, you meet different people as well, and then people out there recognize you because of obviously the people that you've also worked with and working with. And yeah, I started content creation, and I think as far as you guys maybe have seen, if you know me, if you don't know me, you can go and check my pages, Mzungu Mjanjez on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And I am starting my YouTube channel too with the same Mzungu Mjanjez name, coming soon. So to be sincere, my first language was actually Kiswahili, not even English. When my mom used to go to work, I used to be left with the house help, and she only used to speak to me in Kiswahili. I guess, I don't know kama it was given strict instructions by mama yangu, yani muongeleshe tu Kiswahili. But yeah, she used to speak to me only in Kiswahili, and it caught on, and I think I'm the most fluent in my family, isipokuwa baba yangu. My mom cannot speak very good Kiswahili. My brother knows zero Kiswahili on how to talk, and he's 26 years old. I'm 30. And we were born and raised in the same environment with the same house help, to be actually sincere. And yeah, it was all just the same. So it was my first language, and then content has also taken me into the machuoms. I've been to Kayole, I've been to Dandora. So hanging out with people like Santos Ordinary, Mama Smiles, Yo Mama, they speak the the sheng, the deeper, you know, Kiswahili. And then being around them, doing content with them, and then just, I think, just listening and being, yeah, within their space. Nimeshika 1 2 1 2, so munanidiglo, sindio. Yes, that's how I've gotten to know, I guess, the deeper sheng, but Kiswahili in general, yeah, it was my first language. So as we go into relationships, right now Nico single, and I'm happy that way. And what made me get to being single, we can start from the beginning. So obviously I have 2 children, like I said, and I am now a single mom. I met my baby daddy in high school, actually, in Hillcrest. We were high school lovers, or what do they say? The first true love that you find. And it started from there. We went along quite smoothly. Both my children were unplanned before we go any further. And I've never conceived a child in Nairobi, to be sincere, either. So I had gotten a job I was at the humble age of like 18 right now. I had gotten a job in Mombasa, in Kilifi. And at the time we were together and we were so deeply in love, and, you know, that lovey-dovey stage of being, oh my God, we've just finished school, you know, it's time to like be adults now, and we've hit 18, you know, that eager age that people always want to reach. Guys, if you're not 18 and you're watching this, you don't want to turn 18, man. Adult life is hard. So yeah, I got that job, and I think at the time, because of the situation we were in and stuff, and he was also free, like we weren't working. I had the opportunity to go to the coast, and he joined me. The job I went to go and do there was real estate, because I was obviously at the time I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do. So, and he's more of the technical side, like ICT and sitting behind the computers, which I don't do. So at the time he said would go together, and my bosses at the time who were giving me the opportunity said that was fine. So we went there, and I think I was there for like a month and a half, and I conceived my firstborn in Mombasa. I didn't know I was pregnant. When I came back to Nairobi, after just that 1 month and a half, not knowing myself, obviously, that I'm pregnant, the minute I landed in Nairobi, my mother, and that's how we get to know, really, mothers or ladies, or I don't know if it's mothers, but really do know their children, like from head to toe. She just asked me the question, and she was like, have you had your time of the month this month? Just by looking at me, and I was like, what a random question, you know, like, why are you asking me this? And then I was like, I haven't yet, but I don't know if it's the climate, and, you know, the climate changes and that type of thing. And it was totally not even in my mind that maybe I'm pregnant, you know. So the next day she was like, no, I think we should get you tested. So I was like, okay. So we went and got the testing kit, and little to be known, I was pregnant. I was completely gobsmacked, shocked, like taken aback. My mom was like, yeah, I kind of knew it. And I was like, how, you know? She was like, no, I just know you, you know, there's just a way. So I was like, okay. Breaking the news now to my baby daddy was where all shit hit the fan. His mom is a very spiritual lady. So, you know, the people and we were not married, and we're still very young, obviously. So the shock was acceptable and inevitable anyway. But the reaction after that of now going to let them know that I was pregnant was not the best, because they were pushing me for abortion. So I shared with my baby daddy first, so that he can go and now share the news with his family, of which I was kind of expecting a negative reaction, because obviously of the situation we were in. We're still young, we don't have like stable jobs, you know. But at the same time, I didn't expect it to be like, go and abort the child, we want nothing to do with you, we want nothing to do with the baby. So breaking it to his parents, or his mom, because yeah, his mom is also a single mom, by the way. She didn't take it very lightly. And they were all against it. They were like, no, we've got to have an abortion. We're not ready for this. We don't have the funds. We don't have a stable job. Like, you guys are not working. We can't do this. But my mom on the other end was like, you know what you guys were doing at the time. You are now pregnant and you will carry this baby. You're not doing anything. And I wasn't for the abortion stage anyway. Like, that's a whole human being that you're going to go and kill because you've done the do, you know, like you knew what you were doing at the time. So I accepted it. As much as I was like, my whole life is going to change. I've just literally finished high school. What the hell am I going to do? You know, I don't have the cash. I'm still in my mom's house. Like, how are people going to take me? You know, I had a lot of mixed emotions, but I was like, okay, it is what it is. And I'm just going to have to get along with it. But on their side, like, they went missing for the whole 9 months of me being pregnant for my son. They didn't support like anything. No scans, no, like, you know, those tablets you've got to take whilst you're pregnant to help with like the calcium, proteins, that type of thing. Like, they were totally out of the picture until like a week before. Like, he didn't want to see me. He didn't want to communicate, nothing. So until like a week before, I think on the odd occasion he was like texting my mom, or they were in communication like once. And that was like it for the whole 9 months. So a week before I was to give birth is when he communicated to my mom, and he was like, can I come and see Amy? Or when she's giving birth, can I be there? Because I want to see my son. And my mom was like, but you guys have been like nowhere. You've done nothing for the whole time that she's been pregnant. So why now, you know? Then he was like, no, you know, we've been like trying to process the whole situation, and I don't know, looking for the cash, you know, because now we've got a whole child that we're going to have to raise. I don't have a job. Amy doesn't have a job. And obviously at the time of being pregnant, nobody's going to employ you at the time either. And then I was still really young anyway. And I didn't have like a CV or, you know, any references to go and work at the same time. So I was just basically at home for a whole 9 months, nganganaing with this pregnancy, my first pregnancy as well, and I had a horrible time. Like, my first pregnancy was really rough on me. I was having the worst morning sickness. My emotions were everywhere. I was like crying nearly every day. So what I was thinking at the time was like, what is my life like gonna be like, you know, like, what am I doing right now? You know, like, I've messed up. In a way it's a blessing. In a way I've totally like cooked my life, because now obviously after giving birth I'm gonna have to get a job. I have a whole responsibility of a whole human, you know, that's mine now. You know, it's not my mom's responsibility, it's not my dad's responsibility, it's my responsibility. And where do I even begin? So at the time I was like, maybe this has happened for a reason, because in my belief everything does happen for a reason. So it was either to teach me a lesson for next time, like, be more careful with what you do, and at the same time think twice maybe about who you're gonna like pursue life with, you know? Because initially I was so in love with this guy. I really did love him, and I had so much respect for him and the far that we had come and everything. And I really didn't it's the least I expected, to say the least, that when I got pregnant, how the tables would turn from being 100% on top to minus 100%, like now, like totally ground level now that I'm carrying your baby, you know? So the way they took the whole thing and not being present and then wanting to be present. Okay, my mom was like, okay, you guys are so young, and maybe yes, the shock was something that maybe gave the effect of not being with you or the support system that you needed. So she tried to persuade me, and she was like, let's give it a try, you know, let him come once the baby's born, and let's see if we can like rekindle things to try and work it out and see if they'll support and everything. So I said, okay, that's fine. So when I gave birth, in fact, it was an emergency C-section. So he was called like an hour before, and he came with his sister. I think, can't quite remember if his mom was available or not, but I think he came with his sister that day. And I went into theater and I gave birth, and then he was in the room, and I was like, oh, hi, you know, a whole 9 months of like not seeing you. Now you're here is your son, healthy and alive and all that. We tried to patch things up after that. He would be coming, like, obviously I was still staying in my mom's house. He'd be coming over to visit like once in a while, trying to help in ways that he could. So my mom was like, yeah, okay, you see, now that the baby's actually here, maybe things will be different. I think now his whole mentality changed knowing that now he's got a son, it's like it's a real thing, you know. Until you actually see your baby there and then, I think in his mind it was like all imaginary, like a dream, like, oh my God, is this shit real? And actually it was real. And when he actually saw like his son, you know. So after that, I think his mentality kind of changed a bit, but at the same time, things were still hard because obviously nobody was working, there was no income coming in. And his mom, I think, was still not for the whole thing still at the time. So the support was on the bare minimum, let's say. We tried. He tried. But it got to a point where, again, because the mom was like totally not for it, we ended up having like court cases and stuff because they were just not providing. And my mom at the same time was going through, she's got quite a lot of medical conditions and stuff. So our finances on our side went down. And then we got into like let's say a situation where everything kind of went like on a standstill, and we required their help, obviously, because the baby is also theirs. And they were like not helping at all. So we went through court cases, we went to lawyers, like all that shenanigans and stress on top of like being a new mom and my mom trying to, you know, be my whole support system. Not trying, she was my whole support system. And I give her like all the credits and respect for that, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think neither me or both my children would be here right now, because I actually had a bad pregnancy, giving birth to my first son, my second son at the same time as well. Because I had nothing. I had nothing at the time I got pregnant, at the time I was giving birth. I was still in her house. I was still a young, you know, naive girl who was just, you know, trying to figure out life. And at the same time now handling pregnancy with everything that it comes with, giving birth, now having all the extra expenses of the diapers, her helping me, like just being there, literally. I know all the women out there right now are understanding totally where I'm coming from. Men, it's a bit harder to understand because you guys can't nyonyesha and you can't like understand exactly what we feel after just giving birth and just the whole emotional roller coaster that we go through and everything that we experience. So without my mom, I don't think I would have made it through, because otherwise I literally was alone. I had, obviously my baby daddy wasn't like available or willing. I had, obviously my friends were all there busy going to university, on holidays, moving countries, you know, so I had like no one. So without my mom, I don't think, I would have been like, I don't even know what words to use, but yeah, it would have been very tough without my mom. But there I was, pregnant at home. I would say depressed, because I did go through a very tough like time of where I just felt like I was alone, even though my mom was there. You know, it's just not the same when the person that you've gone now and you're having a baby with is just like doing whatever they want to do with their life. But I'm like, there's nothing I can do. It's like out of my control, and I've got to like embrace the fact that now I'm about to be a young mom and my whole life is about to change. Because once you have children, your whole life does change. Like, it's not about you anymore, it's about your kids or your kid. And the whole perspective of life, how you handle life, responsibilities, what you do with your finances, like just basically every aspect of life just changes. So there I was trying to like panga maisha yangu on like how it's going to be or how I would hope it would be. And of course, at the same time now I'm being a mom, I can't give like my child a bad life, you know, all those, all the thoughts running through your mind. How is it going to be? What's going to happen? What if, asking yourself questions. And other people are out there living their lives, you know. So it did take a big toll on me, but it also did teach me a lot of lessons. And I think it has helped me mold me into the person that I am today. Well, motherhood for me, initially, it was very tough. I was having sleepless nights, and then obviously breastfeeding. The baby is on demand, wanting to feed the whole time. You are trying to, and then your whole like genuine life of sleeping at night and being awake in the day totally changes. Like your clocks switch. You now have to adjust to baby timing. You know, you're now a mom. You've got to, whatever the baby wants, the baby has to have. You know, they're basically living off you now. You know, you're feeding them. You've got to change their diapers. You got to bathe them. You got to make sure they also get enough sleep. You get enough sleep. You're eating the right things. You know, your whole diet changes. It was tough. It was really tough. Like the adjusting from now sleep, the clock's changing to sleeping like maybe like 2 hours, even if that, you know, especially my firstborn, he was like a heavy feeder. He would barely give me even 20 minutes to rest. So most of the time I'd find him like sleeping on my chest, which is, I was told it was dangerous at the time because he could just roll. And then because I'm so deep asleep, he'll fall on the floor, you know, something can happen. So initially it was very tough for me trying to like adjust to now the baby's timing, and just basically everything in general in life just changed. But as I started getting used to it, and then obviously with the support of my mom, being able to like take my son whilst he was maybe a few months older and not so much reliant on breastfeeding, maybe I'd pump some milk and like my mom could take him out for a drive or something just to give me that break. It helped a lot. And then as he started growing up and obviously being on less demand, and I also managed to fit into the role of now blending in of being a mom and what it entails, and trying to get my own time at the same time as trying to be, you know, a mom. And also still obviously being in my mom and dad's house, you know, you've also got to be social with maybe visitors who are coming over, and also try and get some sunlight and, you know, go out and try and live a normal life, but at the same time it's not a normal life, you know. I got used to it, and as time went by and he grew older, it got easier, but the initial stages of motherhood was very hard. So personally, for me, I think the most defining moment was the fact that you have to change your whole schedule to fit in with your child, literally. Like, you might say, tonight I'm gonna have a movie night, or I'm gonna just relax in a hot bathtub for 20 minutes. You've pangered the schedule for your son to sleep from this time to this time so that you know this evening you've got like time for yourself. But who is the baby? Who is the baby? The controller of the life. Like, literally I couldn't do anything. Like, my whole life was just based on baby schedule, and whatever baby wants, baby has to get. Because my dad specifically hated baby cries. Like, the minute he'd hear just my baby crying, or any baby crying, up until to date actually, he's not a fan of kiio kilele yani. Akisikia tu anasema, "Toy mtoto," like, take him out, you know, to make him stop crying, shut up, you know, like, he's so enraged and gets. So to me personally, that was a very defining moment in my life, because I used to be so careful. Like, I don't want my baby to cry, because the minute my baby cries, my dad's going to be on my neck, you know, and I'm still in his house. And at the same time, to be actually sincere, and I haven't mentioned it, but my dad wasn't so happy that I got pregnant with my firstborn. The second one as well at the same time, but I think after the firstborn, he was a little softer, but I wouldn't say he was for it either. I wouldn't say he was against it. He wasn't against it, but I think being his baby girl, I was daddy's girl when I was younger. I could say that he maybe was a little disappointed that, like, surely, man, we've nganganed with our maisha to like pay your school fees and to get to where you are, and you've gone and gotten pregnant, man. Like, what are you doing? So like I understood some side of it, but my mom's side, I guess she accepted it as well, because she's a woman, you know, woman to woman. And yeah, my dad maybe was a little harsh on that side. So I think at the time of knowing that he was kind of disappointed, or he wasn't as welcoming as my mom was to the situation, I was also very careful and cautious that I didn't want to upset him even more now, because he doesn't like babies crying. He's also not really for the fact that now we've got another baby in the house, you know. And then I think at the same time, he took it in a way that because my mom was like my only person to help and support me, I was taking most of their time together away. So there was a lot of like impact from my dad's side, which I didn't take positively. And I think that was his intention, like, to be like, yeah, you've done something which really shouldn't have happened maybe at this time. So he kind of gave that cold shoulder to me. So I used to be I don't want my baby to cry. I don't want to like go and bother my mom maybe if I need like a half an hour sleep. So let me just yani wacha tu ning'ang'ane nayo, because already I'm in the bad books and I don't want to become like that type of person or that daughter who's just coming yani to later be told like you ruined our lives or you like played a part in my life that I really didn't expect of you, you know, that downing kind of thing. Yeah, like I was already seeing myself as somebody who's maybe like unwanted at the time by my dad, but I know that wasn't his intention. But just the type of, I guess the aura that he gave me at the time was kind of, it was cold. I didn't appreciate it as much because I was like, okay, I obviously I didn't make this baby on my own. And I couldn't have gotten rid of the baby at the same time. But at the same time, you know, just maybe a little support, you know, because my dad and I were really close. Actually, we were much more closer than I was with my mom until now. The situation happened and I got pregnant, and then like tables turned, and I think we became a bit more distanced after that. And up until now, like my dad is a G, I love him, but we're not as close as, yeah, to say as we were before. So I didn't appreciate it, but at the same time, I was like, okay, it's understandable, but at the same time, you know, just maybe just a little bit of support. So I put it, let's say I generalize that maybe it's a way men react to situations that they're maybe not comfortable with, if that's the right wording to put, you know. My dad wasn't very comfortable. Well, yeah, I wasn't comfortable with me being pregnant. My baby daddy was shocked in that situation, and obviously it was out of his control in some way because yes, we weren't financially stable, we didn't have jobs and stuff. So I think it's just like a general, should I say reaction of men, or I don't know, depending on the situation. I think there's kind of some similarities and familiarities that men do have, which I came to realize later. At the time, obviously I wasn't thinking that way. I was just like, the whole world is against me. My God, my dad hates me now. My baby daddy is there, so-called loving me, and right now he's like gone, like completely, like he's just a ghost in my life right now. Like, how did this come to be, you know? Like the coins just flipped kabisa. Like 1 minute they're all there, they're all supportive, you're all laughing and eating together, and the next minute it's like you're in ghost town. Where's my dad? Where's my baby daddy? Like, where are the men, you know? And then at the time, I think being a woman as well, there's some kind of support from a man that you need, you know. It's not that not to be consoled or something, but just that different gender to be able to talk to, you know, because there might be something that maybe I'll express to my mom and she's a woman, she might not understand it from my perspective, or she'll be like, no, you know, this is just something normal. But if you explain it maybe to a man, there's a different perception that they'll have, maybe different advice they can give you, moral support in another way, you know. So at the time I felt kind of abandoned. I felt kind of unloved, if that's the right word. Yani, your own parents not supporting you, in this case, my dad. You come to realize maybe why people do say that they either have been through depression, are going through depression, because, you know, maybe it can happen. Mine happened at the initial stages, but it could happen further along for some other people. Maybe even right now, as maybe their kids are like teenagers or something, you know, there might be some type of way that maybe either your parents have been feeling about the whole situation, or your partner, like, let's say the perception of your partner that comes into it as well. Maybe they used to really love your partner, but as time has gone by, they've seen maybe how they're treating the kids or how they're treating you, and the whole situation changes, and then there's a different perception and perspective that comes in from them, and they sit back and they judge you in another way, or they start being judgmental, you know, different aspects. And then it kind of makes sense as to why people do go through maybe depression, like they say, or at the time where you feel like you just want to go to heaven and take yourself away. Like, I've been through that several times whilst being pregnant, after being pregnant. Even as my kids have been growing up, you know, I've like been in situations where I'm like, really? Do I have to do this life? Like, it's just become so overwhelming. You're just like, is it really worth still being here, you know? But in the end, in my perspective, I think about my kids, like, if I took my life today, how would their life be, you know? Because obviously my parents are growing older. Their dad is not really a part of their life as well. So I'm their I'm their only person, you know. So there are different stages people go through, I think, and different like, yeah, roller coasters that people go through, situations and things like that. And it explains why people do maybe what they do and express how they feel. But I think also the world has become quite harsh. Like when somebody tries to express how they feel or, you know, just share with people in general, there's a lot of judgment that goes on out there where people will be like, but you're the one who decided to have these kids, you know, or you're the one who put yourself into this situation. Like, ngangana tu nayo. We're all going through the same thing, where it's not we're all going through the same thing, you know. Right now I could be going through my own problems and I could express it to, let's say, somebody straight, like a total stranger outside, and they could be going through double of what I'm going through, yet I think my life is hard, you know, and maybe I have nobody to hear me through, and they also have nobody to hear them through, but they're still pushing on with their lives. Like our situations, nobody's situation is never the same, but there's always a way out. And I think just being positive and being able to have, let's say, 2 or 3 friends that you can at least call friends, you know. It's even hard to call people friends nowadays because the next minute you're busy being spoken about behind your back. But like yani tu watu that you can really just call and just say, today I've had the shittiest day, and express exactly how you felt, whatever you're going through, and they won't judge you. It really does help a lot. So basically, well, I felt my dreams are all shattered the minute I got pregnant. I was like, okay, now I'm going to have to start working, and whether I like the job that I'm going to do or I don't like the job that I'm going to do, I'm just going to have to do it because I don't have a choice right now. So initially, before I got pregnant and I had kids, I had a very nice figure and I used to do modeling, and I was like, okay, maybe I could, like, I had dreamt of maybe working, you know, abroad and doing the modeling at the same time of now maybe doing hospitality, because like I said, I enjoyed cooking and stuff. But after that, I was like, where will I get the time when now I've got like a small baby? I've got to, you know, I've got to basically look after, be there for 24/7. And it's somebody that's mine forever. I can't give like my child away to somebody and be like, okay, and then get like, it's not going to come back. It's mine. Like whether I give my baby to my mom for the whole day, it is still going to come back to me in the evening, you know? So at the time I felt like I was totally lost. I was like, what am I going to do? I don't know. I've got to start like rethinking my whole life and like, where am I going to end up? What's going to happen? The situation that I'm in. But I think as time went by, and my mom also supported me in the way saying that, no, even though like you've got a baby, she put myself in her situation. She was like, I was also where you were, right? I had you guys when, okay, I think my mom had me when she was like 23 or 24. She was like, but I've raised you until who you are now, right? And here you are having like my grandson right now. So it doesn't mean that life is going to end just because now you've got a baby. But it does mean that you're going to have to push extra hard and maybe do things that you don't want to do and you're not like maybe interested in doing, but so long as it's going to take you somewhere and get you something at least to provide for your baby, then that's it. So slowly I started like checking like maybe online jobs. I think at the time, something I could do at home whilst I was on like the phone or on a laptop whilst being a mom, a first-time mom. And slowly from there, I was like taking the small online jobs of replying to emails and helping maybe people be a PA or PR for like 3 hours in a day, things like that. It wasn't something I enjoyed doing. Like I said, I hate sitting behind computers, but for the time being, like my mom said, it's just something for a short time because obviously he's going to grow up and he's going to be 10 before you know it. And yeah, my son's about to be 12 this year, guys. I feel very old. But the far we become, like, I think it's you just need that positivity and that moral support from your people around you. And the hopes start coming as you start seeing life changes, you know, as they grow up, obviously. And it's never going to be the same from once you've just given birth to, like, obviously when they're like 5 years old. And, you know, when they start being a bit more independent, the kids especially, once they start now walking or, you know, you can leave them and they're not dependent totally on breastfeeding and stuff. You have that little more freedom and a little bit more leeway where you can go out and maybe like talk to somebody and say like, okay, hey, I'm interested in doing this. I am still maybe a fresh mom, you know, but I need to start getting into doing something else, and this is what I'm interested in, and then maybe they guide you or they give you some leads, you go and talk to somebody. And once you see that you can go out of the house for like 3-4 hours or even like half a day, and then you come back home and you're now a mom again. Okay, you're always a mom, but now being a mom physically there with your baby at the time, you start seeing the doors open up, and it's not actually a burden being a mom. It's actually a blessing, because you're out there, you're working, knowing that you're working for somebody who's at home, who is a very innocent being, you know. But then when you also appreciate more being a mom once you've finished, let's say, your time out of being at the house, and then you get home and you're like, I really missed being a mom, or like being with my baby, you know. And then after that, I think it gives you more motivation at the same time, because you're like, I need to provide for my son, you know. Who knows, he might be the next president, you know, he might be the next Lionel Messi or Ronaldo out there. And for that to happen, I've got to be able to like provide and to make him get to where he'll also want to be in his life, you know, the same way my mom did. And from there, I think my dreams started opening up again, and I saw like a light at the end of the tunnel, if I can say that. So I just kept pushing and trying to balance like being a mom and also being like obviously a working class mom at the time. And yeah, I think as time went by, he grew up, and he is a big boy as he is now. And even right now, he's like, oh, mom, you're going today. Where are you going today? You know, like he's used to it, you know. And I think he's a proud son, let's say, because he sees and he has seen how far we've come, you know, from how it was to how it is now, and he appreciates the work that his mom does. So after reconciling and trying to get everything back together again, we had gone on, I think it was an Easter holiday, to Sagana, and I happened to conceive my second born at the time. Don't ask me how it happened, because I honestly, I can't even remember, to be sincere, but we had gone on holiday, and yes, obviously things got heated and I got pregnant with my second born. That one came, yeah, as a shock, but it wasn't as bad as the first time. So with the second one, they were supportive in the ways that they could be, and my pregnancy was totally different from my first one. I had zero more. I didn't even know I was pregnant actually until I was like 3 months pregnant, to be sincere. Yeah, because my bump was barely visible, but with my first one, I was properly, heavily carrying. Yeah, so that's how I got my second born, and then I think, yeah, the ride wasn't too bad with the second born, but things after now moving out of my mom's house and living together, the job I was doing at the time, he wasn't working. He's never been employed. His mom has wines and spirits shop, so he used to run those shops and, you know, be like the manager and type of thing there. Where do I even begin? Okay, I was in the hospitality industry, right? And obviously it's not an 8-to-5 job. And having 2 kids at the same time, I know very well I am the only breadwinner at the time. And I've got responsibilities. I've got bills to pay. I'm not living at my mom's house anymore. I'm now taking the burden off my mom, and I am trying to be a responsible mother to my boys. So I was in the hospitality industry. I was a manager. So being a manager, you've got to go in before your shift starts, and you've got to stay a bit after your shift ends just to make sure everything is fine and you can go home, and everything when you come back in the morning will be fine. So my baby daddy, not understanding and not being in that position and really knowing what my job entails, never used to understand why I would come home maybe, let's say, an hour and a half later than the time I should finish, or why I should go a little bit earlier to make sure everything is like in order, you know. He just basically didn't understand. So it reached a point where he would be drinking in the house, and I would come home and I'd literally find like him waiting at the door with a bottle just ready to beat me up. It got physical, literally, because misunderstanding, his drinking habits just went from 0 to 100. I mean, I used to have very long hair, and I cut it all because of him, actually. He used to like drag me across the floor like a mop, beat me up, all in front of my first son, to be sincere. My firstborn has been through a hell of a lot of things that he shouldn't have at his tender age of 12. Well, yeah, he's about to be 12 now. He used to see his dad beat me up. He used to see, literally, sometimes I used to even miss going to work, let's say for 2 or 3 days, because I was like swollen on my face. Either had like a black eye. I was battered and bruised everywhere. Like, it got to being a physical situation where it stopped me even from, like literally going to work for a few days. My poor son being mentally traumatized, even up to now, if he hears me arguing or having like a heated, let's say, discussion with anybody, because I'm not in a relationship now, but just with anyone, he gets severe anxiety. He can't eat. He'll start throwing up. His stomach starts hurting. Like, it has impacted him in the worst way ever. So I think to him, okay, not even at the time, up until now, yes, he's been working for his mom, but he never used to have like an income. And I think in general, it's I don't know if should I say a Kenyan man thing? Because I've experienced it also with who I dated after my baby daddy. So I think in his perspective, he saw kind of like he was being undermined because I was the one working. I was the one paying everything, like literally everything. I was paying all the bills, taking myself to work, bringing myself back, putting food on the table. And it kind of put him in a situation where he saw himself as being, I guess, belittled, maybe. I don't know. Like, that was totally not my intention, but his mentality, and I think the way he was raised, maybe. So he kind of, I don't know if he felt like kind of caged, where he couldn't provide, and he didn't like that he couldn't provide. Then at the same time, when I was working, then he didn't understand like the timing and that type of thing. He used to think that I wasn't working for that extra, let's say, an hour and a half that I've taken. I was out there doing my own things, either going and enjoying myself, or I was going to meet another guy. So he had very high insecurities at the same time, which is why at the moment, and the next person, if I happen to date again, because I'm not looking into that at the moment, but I think it's very crucial that the person that you're with understands the type of job that you do or what your job entails. Either they're in the same industry as you, so they understand it and they've been through it themselves, or they are that type of, they are willing to understand what your job entails. Because if you're with somebody who doesn't understand at all, like what your job entails, what you do, how like the whole thing works, there's very little chance that you guys mutaelewana, and it just ends up in the worst way. Okay, maybe not as bad as mine was, but things just get rough, and then people either end up splitting or divorcing, because it's basically the small bare minimum that people don't understand, and it's just that basic understanding that somebody needs to have to, I think, to make things work. I would prefer to argue with you, but I won't touch you. But his was totally different. If it's a heated argument, or maybe an argument that's upcoming, or something we're just talking about, and he disagrees and he's not for it, he won't talk. He'll just stand up, and that's where the abuse starts, literally. Whatever he's got in hand. There was a time he even threw his phone at me. Like, I literally had the mark of the phone on my forehead for 2 days, because I was just thrown for like anything. On the top of this ear, actually, as well, I've got like a cut here, because there was a time when we've had initially first started, like, I've been through so many police cases with this guy as well, like taking him for physical abuse, basically, with OBs and the drunkenness that he had. Like, he'd pick up literally anything. So the time that I got cut here, my ear nearly split in half at the top, actually, and that's just because he picked up a maraca, which was a plastic toy of my son's, and he literally thrashed me. He pinned me down to the bed, and he thrashed me with that thing until my ear like cut here at the top. I had to go to the hospital to go and get it stitched up. and at the same time go and take him to police, and like just everything. Like, I don't know, his way of acting and resolving issues was physical. Like, there was zero talk that he would do, even if it's something very minor that you can just sit down and talk about. He wasn't for that. He just saw that physicality was the way to go, and that's how it ended. It reached just a point where I was like, I just can't do this anymore. You know, I can't be mentally torturing myself, mentally torturing now both my children, because now living out of my mom's house, we were together with both of my kids. But my youngest son wasn't really at the age where he could understand what was going on because he was still very young. But my eldest had already seen it happen, and then continuation of it. It became too traumatic for like all of us, and I was just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Like, you just go your own way, and like, I wish you all the best, whatever. I have your children. If you wish to see your children, you're very free to see your children. They are your children in the end. But anything to do with me and us, I can't do it anymore, because they took me as being a Mzungu, and my baby daddy used to use that a lot. Every time I used to go and take him to the police station, or to go and like write and get an OB and stuff. If they used to, because there are several instances that they used to come to the house as well to like come and ask him like, what the hell's going on? You know, if you don't stop or whatever, then you're going to go inside. But whenever they used to get to the house, he used to say, "Uni mzungu, mbona unamwamini?" He used to use that a lot against me. And the police used to now obviously side with him, because he's an African Kenyan, and even though I'm Kenyan, I speak the Kiswahili, and I used to tell them Mahadi, I used to show them my ID, you know, like, wasn't he assume like, take me as not a Kenyan, even though I am a Kenyan, just because of my skin color, you know. And they used to take that, I think that's what they use like as a big advantage on their side. Like, if, like, for example, right now, if I was to say I was going through the same thing right now, to maybe get the help that I need, they would ask me for kitu kidogo, lazima. That different perspective is especially what has not helped me in my situation, is being white. Like, I'm Kenyan, I'm truly Kenyan. I have a Kenyan ID, and like I said, I was born here and everything, but the racism aspect in that way is what really, yeah, like, let me down in that point. And I felt very disappointed, kusema tu kweli, because I'm like, mimi Mkenya, just like every other Kenyan. Just because I'm white doesn't mean mi sio Mkenya, and it doesn't mean that I should have to toa kitu kidogo to get help, which, because that's like my life at risk, you know. If something did actually happen to me, and it went to be said that she had gone to report it to the police, but the police did nothing because walitaka kitu kidogo na alikataa kuwapea, it wouldn't make any sense, you know? So I think in most perspectives, okay, gender-based violence is on the increase, and people even ask me like, hey, kwani people still beat each other up, you know, those are things for in the 90s, you know? But it still happens until now, and I think there's much less awareness on it as well, and people don't maybe air it out as much as well, because either they're embarrassed about it, or like I said, the whole big thing right now is being judged, you know. They're afraid of being judged out there by maybe other like fellow companions, or people who maybe thought like, ay, you're a strong woman, you know, mtu kama wewe unaenda kupigwa aje, you know. So to me, my perspective anyway is that, yeah, there was some racism involved there, but I think if other people also go and complain, or, you know, put their point across, I haven't had friends who have been through that, which I'm grateful for, of late, let's say. So I don't really know how their situations maybe have been handled, but I'm sure there might be people out there who can also either concur with what I've said, and they've also been treated in a different type of way because either of their race or yani the whole situation, or either they're both African Kenyans, but maybe let's say one of them is maybe higher ranked than the other, ama anafanya na unajua maybe wadosi, and maybe they just have their small biashara, ama they're just a housewife, kitu kama hiyo, you know. I think that also, yeah, gives them like there's discrepancies in that as well. So there's no balance really. I don't know. But seeking help, I feel it should be equal with everybody, you know, because that's people's lives being put at risk. It's violence anyway, which is just wrong in general. Like, whether there's a reason for it or a reason not for it, there's no reason really for physical abuse. Like, verbal abuse, you can abuse me and all that, like, I'll forget about it. You haven't harmed me in a way that maybe I might not be able to walk again. You never know that maybe you might beat me so much that I might get internal bleeding in my head, you know, like physical abuse is really, it's really wrong, and it should be taken like heavily, not on a light note by anybody, whoever goes to complain about it. Yeah, like to me, I was very shocked, and my mom was also shocked as well at the fact that we've come for help. You can clearly see at the time I was bleeding from my ear terribly. Like, I think we've even still got pictures of how it was. But at the same time, you're still saying, yani tukupee kitu kidogo juu kuje kwa nyumba uongeleshe hiyo kijana amenipiga. How? Like, you can see I'm injured and I need the help. We've come for the help because whatever the guy is doing is totally wrong. My life is in danger, but you still don't want to come and do like your job willingly. You want to be paid to come and do something that you should do just, you know. Yeah. So I think I endured the battle of physical abuse for around 2.5 years. And then in the end, what like made me decide that this was enough was the effect it was putting on my children and myself, mentally, physically. Like, I could go days without eating and not going to work. It was making me obviously have different perceptions of life at the same time. Like, maybe I am the problem. Like, what am I doing wrong? You know, I'm here, I'm just trying to raise my kids. I'm doing everything. Like, I'm providing everything. Like, what else does he want me to do that I am not doing to not be beaten up, you know? And I was like, in actual fact, there's nothing that I'm not doing, you know? It's just who he is. And the fact that it went from minor abuse to real proper, like, it was really terrible. To the extent that it reached, I just said, like, you know, it's not worth it. Because even my mom used to tell me, it got to a point my mom used to tell me, like, if you continue staying with this guy, he will kill you. You will die. Like, just get out. My whole family was advising me on the same. My friends would tell me the same. So I think in my situation, what kept me there was knowing that he's the baby daddy and that we have just now started like life together, and thinking that I couldn't make it maybe without him, you know, me going to work and him being maybe at home with the kids or helping to cook, you know, the small things maybe is what kept me thinking, okay, if I didn't have him, or if I don't have him, or if I leave him, then who's gonna do what at the time he was helping me with? Like, if it was to stay with the kids because maybe I didn't have a house help at the time, or to help with cooking. And then also with this perspective, knowing that he's my baby daddy, literally, like, he is the father of my kids, you know, nobody can take his position in my kids' lives because he is their like blood father, you know. So let me see if hopefully as time goes by, he will get to understand maybe the job that I'm doing, or he'll change his ways and come to actually realize that what he's like, his way of reacting and acting towards things is not the right way. So the mentality that I had was that he's going to change. He's going to realize and he's going to change, and he's going to maybe put himself in the perspective where he'll see how maybe his kids are viewing him, and the perception maybe people have outside of him, you know, me not going to work for 3 days and then going back to work again. Like, how are people going to take him? Thinking and hoping that he would change, but in actual fact, everything just got worse. And yeah, it just reached the point where I even had to like force him out of my house. I had to call his mom. We had to sit down and just say, like, you know, where it's reached right now, it's too much. You can have access to your children if you want to see them, no problem. They can come and stay with you. You can take them out. You can do whatever you want. If it's to come and visit them, you can visit them, or you can go, we can meet in a mutual place outside. But to live with me, be with me, anything like relationship wise, I can't do it anymore. He was totally against it. He was like, no, I'm not the problem, you know. I'll change. And I was like, man, I've enjoyed this for longer than even like a year and a half, 2 years. And you kept saying, this will be the last time. I'm sorry, blaming it on the alcohol, blaming it on stress, blaming it on things like family issues that maybe he was having with his mom and, you know, their side of the family. And I was like, yeah, but I am like the mother of your children, you know, like I'm the last person that should be like beaten up and treated. And especially the thing that really hit me the most was that he used to do it in front of my kids. If he would like take me into the room when my kids maybe are not there, or he'd like beat me up when my kids are not there, it's me, you know. It's still very wrong, but it's not in front of my children. But the fact that he used to do all of this in front of my children, that's the thing that like it was to make it or to break it. And I just couldn't, because it's mentally torture. To be sincere, my eldest son right now, I even wish I'd brought him here to come and say hi to you guys. He is so strong. And I don't think his character would be the same character as it is now if what he's been through, he hadn't been through. Because right now he's a very conservative child. He will sit on a chair, be either on the phone, watch something, and he won't say a word. He doesn't like meeting new people. He doesn't like even visitors coming over to the house. He's very like self-kept and very quiet. And I think that's all thanks to everything that he's been through, to be sincere, because my youngest is totally different. He was very young when the initial and the like everything was going on, and he never really understood, which I'm grateful for, because he's totally different. Like he's very outgoing. He'll come in here and make friends with everybody, talk to everybody, pass people on the road, say hi to strangers, love people coming into the house, very outgoing. Comes and gets called to go and play with people outside. He'll go, whether he knows them or he doesn't know them. But my eldest son, it is very, very hard to get him to even express his emotions even, you know. Like right now he's getting through the stage where he's getting to teenagehood. And, you know, he's obviously got emotions, and his emotional roller coaster is going through as well. I'm not a man, so I don't really know exactly how he might be feeling or what he's going through. But now I've got to step in and try and be a fatherly figure as well as being a motherly figure to him at the same time, and trying to get him to open up and express how he feels, and make sure assure him that whatever he tells me, it's okay to tell me, and it's okay to feel how you feel. And, you know, things change and things are going to change, because now you're growing up, you're a big boy, you know, you're about to be a teenager, and that entails a lot of things. So if you're feeling some type of way, or, you know, you need something, or you're curious about something, you should be like open and ask, you know, talk to mom. It's okay. It really makes me feel bad, but I do hope that it's also taught him on how a man shouldn't be for as he grows up, and given him also the strength to know that he's a strong guy. You know, he's been through a lot, and he's still an amazing boy. The moment that I like decided to end it, so I felt very relieved, actually. I knew that that was the end of like my torture, let's say, or the end of like my dark hole that I've been enduring, all my tough times of maybe not being able to go to work, not being able to show up, you know, like just to be myself. And at the same time, I knew that now my kids will have peace, you know, there'd be peace in my life. Like, I think that's mainly what I was missing, was the peace and the sanity of just knowing that when I get home, I'm not going to be beaten up. When I get home, there's not going to be an endless argument or a baseless argument just because like I'm an hour late and it's because I've been at work. There's not going to be that anxiety thinking that maybe, you know, the next minute I'm going to be thrown for something and my poor kids are going to be out there screaming because they need help because they're seeing their mom like being tortured out there as well. So on my end, it gave me a lot of relief, peace of mind, and I think my sanity came back, because I literally felt like I was like going crazy with that guy. I feared going back home. I feared even leaving the house the next day, like, because the minute I come back, who knows, even if it's like on a weekend and maybe I've gone to go and see my mom with the kids or something, coming back, if he's gone and he's drunk or he's come like thinking his own things. He used to overthink quite a lot as well. So things that are not even realistic or haven't even happened, he's thought about it so much that in his mind it's like it's real. You know, you haven't been just at your mom's, you've gone here, you've done this, you've been there, you've done that. And I'm like, dude, man, we were just at my mom's house, literally. Call her and ask her, you know. Maybe everything else that he's done or would have done or does is what now he'd start, you know, pushing onto me, until it just reached a point I was just like, no, you know, the relief that I felt and that I feel even right now, you know, now I have the free will. I can go out, I can do anything. I can go out and I can do my content. I can go meet a friend. I can be called to go and see my mom. Like my mom's been ill, like of late. She just came out of hospital a few days ago. But being able to just say, okay, and I'm going to give 2 hours to go and visit my mom in hospital. I'll come back, then I'm going for content. Like having just that flexibility without being questioned, without fearing going back home, you know, it's given me a whole lot of moral support, like within myself, you know, knowing that I can do it on my own. I didn't really need him in the end anyway, from the beginning to the end. And right now, like, I think my success has also given me that motivation, because according to me anyway, I feel like I've succeeded something in life. You know, I've raised my children as far as we have come to today on my own, with my mom's support initially, and she does support me if I really need it. But now I try not to be a burden, as we'd like to say, to my mom as much, because obviously now I've got my own 2 feet to stand on, and I've got my kids who are not like small babies anymore. Obviously responsibilities are more, because now they've got to go to school and clothes and food and all that type of thing as before. But I think it's given me that push, yani, and then content, because I enjoy doing it. And you know, to be sincere, I think also content creators, whether they're going through something, they also express it with what they put on your screens. For example, like right now I've done mostly comedy, and I've done a few skits for some corporates and stuff. But you see, everything that I've been through is not what I'm portraying on your screen, right? You go to my page and you'll see I've done mostly comedy, so I'm making people laugh. But behind the scenes, I've been suffering, right? And it's not what I want to portray outside, that I've been suffering, until now I sit down in front of, let's say, with you guys, to now share my life story. Nobody would know that I've been through that. People would think that I'm the happiest person, because even outside there right now, people are like, hey, and Amy, you're always smiling. You know, Mzungu Mjanjez, do you ever kasirika yani? Tunakuonanga tu ukicheka cheka kila saa. You're such a happy soul, free spirit. And I think most content creators as well, either they've been through, are currently going through something that pushes them to do the content that they do. And in a way, it actually it's an escape to like the real world, to express how you're actually feeling. Because I can't, like right now, I do have my problems that I'm going through now. Okay, it's not as bad as it was before, like baby daddy issues and stuff, but I still do have a lot that I'm going through and I'm enduring. But you wouldn't tell that with the content that I'm doing. And also at the same time that I do the content, it makes me forget about the whole world outside there, because I'm going out there and I'm focusing on the content that I'm making. And I know today I'm doing 3 skits with XYZ, this person, and this person. And then at the end of the day, I'm going home. I'll be with my boys. We're going to eat supper, shower, and go to bed. My day is done. And I don't have the time to think about all the struggles and everything that I'm going through. And I think most content creators also do the same thing. They try and keep themselves busy, and because content is something that's continuous, you can just be in a random place right now and just say, okay, you have an idea for content, let's do it, you know? And I think that's like a big thing that creators, they might not express it out there, or it might not be something that's known, but it's something, I've been through it myself. I've endured it. And there are a few content creators that I've worked with who have also expressed the same to me. Like, I might look like the happiest person, and I might make everybody happy outside, but deep inside in myself, I'm not a happy person right now, you know? There's so much that I'm going through. I'm either depressed, I'm either, you know, on the verge of like just giving up and you know, just doing nothing, you know, not even doing content. I just want to just do nothing. I just want to be by myself. Like, I think it was like a few weeks ago, one of my favorite content creators that I work with, he's called Koja. One of his people that he used to do content with, she actually took her life away, and they had no idea, like, that she was going through anything, that she was having a tough time, maybe she was enduring problems, things like that. And just like that, they got a phone call to be told, like, she's gone. So I think there's a lot of things that people outside are going through, but I don't know if it's the state of the world or the state of just how everything is. There's so much judgment that goes on. There's so much misunderstanding of people as well, that people don't feel open enough to be able to like share their stories with like other people, you know. And I feel that's where we're going wrong, you know, because everybody needs, like I said, I have a few people that I can pick up the phone and rant anything to, whatever it's about, and they will listen to me and they won't judge me. And that's what people need, or how people, I feel, should be out there, because it's such an enclosed space that we're all growing old, like, by the second, you know. And the minute you have maybe a problem, and it's a pressing problem, or maybe it's been going on for the longest time, you should have that open space and freedom to be like, freedom of speech, you know, this is how I'm feeling and this is how it is. Guys, I need help, you know, please help me. And people should be willing to help, but not having that judgmental side of them, being like, you know, just yesterday I saw this person posting online that they're going through this and this and this and the other, and they needed help. And then the next minute you find yourself on either gossip clubs, or you find yourself, you know, being posted in different like WhatsApp groups, things like that, just because of seeking genuine help that you need. And I think, yeah, if people's mentality changed and people were less judgmental, content creators as well, some people are happy souls and they're doing happy things out there, or some people are happy souls and they're portraying like different sides of other people, you know, maybe that they know, or maybe what their family is going through. So to me, I just feel like people should not be judgmental on other people, because they have no idea what we're going through. Like, I'm sitting here right now, nobody knows what I'm going through right now. Yes, I've said my story of what happened in the past. That's done, it's gone. I've endured 2 other relationships which ended. I was also physically abused by my most latest ex, or whatever you want to call him. But I still have other problems going on, you know, family issues, you know, like just life in general. But I don't have a platform to go and speak it on, because I know haters are going to hate. No, not everybody's going to love every one of us out there. But at the same time, I don't want to go and express something genuine outside there, and then maybe people take it like in the totally opposite way that you might mean it, and start judging you, or start, you know, calling you out and saying like, Mzungu Mjanjez has been like showing us great content, but on the other side now she's just, it's one post, maybe seeking assistance, seeking advice, you know, that'll just bring my whole page down and my whole fans to be like, angalia huyu nayo. And that's just because of the mentality and the judgments that everybody has. So I feel that people should just be more open and like keen to listen to other people with less judgments, in my perspective. I dated my baby daddy for 12 years. So the one that I just like broke up with last year, that one was a total mess. We met on TikTok Live. He stayed around the area that I also stay, and he was very sweet-mouthed, should I say. Like, he knew he knew how to sugarcoat things and give it his all with his mouth. But when it came to actually dating him now, nilikuwa nimemweka. Let's start with that. He was younger than me. To make it even worse, I don't have a problem with people younger than me, or relationships that people are dating people younger than them, like themselves. But Chani, this guy took advantage from the get-go to the end. And in the end, it ended up him beating my children and myself. Na alikuwa mkale, let me tell you, wakale, I'm sorry. Nyinyi, ai, siwezi rudi huko. Nimewaogopa, let me tell you. Ai, mulinionyesha vumbi in a span of 2 months. So TikTok live, yani alikuwa amenifilisha sana. He was like, sijui ako na nyumba huko Kileleshwa, baba yake works in the US Army. Yes, sijui he was jifanying that he works in inaitwa aje, KDF, yani the Kenya Defense Force. And at the time, I had been talking to some friends in the US as well. They are fans/friends. And I was kind of having a thing, you know, some kind of interest ya watu wa wanajeshi, umeona? Well, who was I to fall in the trap? Kwanza alinidanganya miaka ya, alinidanganya from yani A to Z, everything about the guy, what he does. He wasn't even actually a KDF, kusema tu kweli. Yes, I know nako expose kutaji jina, but you know yourself. Niliambiwa after already now falling in the trap of being in love with this guy, that yani akona hiyo tabia of kuwekwa, kutumia wamamas, as they are called, because he gets people who are older than him, and to have, tuseme, pesa, in as people would put it. So he'll use you, he will abuse you, like it's using and abusing practically. Utamweka, utamfanyia kila kitu, atakubembeleza na mapenzi, kunamwambia nakupenda, you're the only one, you're just everything. Umeona? That sweet talk wako nayo. And then the next minute, not even chini ya maji, but not chini ya maji. I don't really know how to explain. He'll go and at the same time akona wewe, he's busy entertaining 100 other women out there. Akikwambia anaenda place flani sijui ni ya kazi, it's not that, ameenda kupatana na madame. Mukienda inje, he even calls these wadame and then starts denying to you to say that he called them, kusema hapana, they've just seen us, sijui nini, waliuliza tuko wapi leo, nikasema tuko hapa, they've come. And there's a situation, the first time that I started dating this guy, tukaenda Habanos, akaita somebody he was still currently dating, and I was with the guy. Can you imagine? Na tumeenda out, all bills on me, nimelipa cab from Lavington to Habanos. Tumefika huko, his phone is ringing, it's like saa sita za usiku. I'm like, who's calling you this much at this time? And then he's looking around, you know, mtu akona wasiwasi, you can just tell. He's busy like looking around. Kumbe kuna hii dame that was dating him at the time, na sikujua. I had no idea until now after all of this stuff happened. She had come to like see him to clear the air, joa, waendelee na relationship yao. So can you imagine the excuse alienda kupatia hiyo dame, ati I'm a business partner. Mimi ni business partner wake. Huh? And we've come for a meeting in a club saa sita. Ebu, just does that even make sense? Oh my God. And I guess he used that perspective because some of my colleagues, actual colleagues wangu, walikuwa kwa hiyo meza. And we weren't doing business talk, tulienda tu sherehe. But his way of getting out of that trap to try and keep her as well as keep me is kuenda kusema I was his business partner. And from there henceforth, yani ilijulikana online because I gather from before he never used to post any of his madames ama wamamas. So alianza kunipost. Whilst he was on TikTok, my DMs zilikuwa zinaingia kwangu kuniambia huyu chunga. Just watch out. Akona tabia za kuwekwa, atakusafisha pesa, and then he'll move on to the next. When you're done with your ex, you move on to the next. And that's exactly what he did. Hadi akona 60k yangu huko nje sai. Imagine, nilienda kupatana na yeye. Then from that same day that I did, nilienda kwake, tukakaa for like an hour and a half. Then akasema, twende kwako, tukae kidogo and then niende. Kumbe, he had his other plans. The minute aliingia kwa hiyo nyumba, imagine hakutoka. That was it. Then I told him, bro, like, you've got to go. And he was like, no, see, now we're going to get to know each other. Tukae pamoja, sijui nini na nini. Him and his tactics, nikamwambia hapana, like, it can't work that way. Aka insist, akasema hapana. Unless uko na mtu mwingine. You know how now you start getting guilt trapped. Kusema, maybe uko na mwingine, labda unani cheat, labda uko na nini. And this is fresh, day one, yani tukupatana na yeye. That guy refused to leave my house. Akakaa, he never paid a single cent uko nje. He didn't pay any of the rent, he didn't pay for any food. Yani hata tukienda masherehe, makabs, manini, zero. Alikuwa amewekwa. Vile tu ilisemekana baadaye that that's what he does, that is what that guy does. Mimi mwenyewe nilimwambia he can stay for like tuseme a few days and then after that aende kwake. So the time ilikuwa nafika sasa, after those few days imeisha, akona excuse ingine, hapana, the house that sasa I went to meet him at, ilikuwa apartment fulani uko Kileleshwa. Alikuwa nasema there's a tenant there, siwezi rudi, I can't go. Yani there was an excuse for everything. Like in a reason as he can't leave. So then I used to tell him, yani, if there's normally before you met me sasa, you used to be where? Akaniambia sijui Embakasi, those place of sijui KDF, where? It was excuses after excuses. And then because now we're in a relationship, sio, and then obviously, okay, yeah, my house is there and whatever. And then he used to bembeleza and just kunidanganya kuniambia, I will support, I'll help with the house help, I'll do this, I'll do that. Ikifika hiyo mwisho ya mwezi kulipwa, because he had no job, but at the time, like I didn't know, you know, we're still getting to know each other, characteristic-wise, kazi-wise, everything. He was just full of lies. Let's just put it that way. Because the job that he claimed he was doing, he wasn't doing. Then again, ako na pesa yoyote. He used to say that, I don't know, his dad was in the US Army. Kumbe ni mulevi tu flani yuko Eldoret. The worst thing that guy ever did kunidanganya though, and me, I don't think any general binadamu ko nje anaweza wish upon ama kusema hivyo kuhusu wazazi wako. He told me tukipatana that his mother passed away. Akimzalia. But little did I know of juzi tu, si tukiachana tu nini. And then after like a few weeks, I was told that his mother is alive. Ako Eldoret na baba yake. But familia yao yani, they are struggling, they are suffering. Na hawana mengi, let's say. I don't want to put it in a bad light, because people are suffering out there and it's just life na vile iko. But mwenyewe, imagine, anaenda kudanganya kusema his mom passed away akimzalia and your mother is still breathing. How? So from A to Z, everything he told me, everything he said was just false. And then, you know, because I didn't sikumjua vile, there was even a point, okay, let me tell you, it was a rough 2 months na yeye, even worse than ya baby daddy's 2 years that I endured, because yeye hadi alinitolea kisu, alitaka kuniua, was recording it, he locked the door. Right now hata nikipeleka kwa nyumba yangu, my mirror is broken because he punched it juu ya anga yake kusema haezi achwa. There were so many points I used to just tell him, like, this relationship just has to end. You are toxic. You are so toxic. Your energy is so negative. And like, yani, even my house help that I had kept for 8 months, alitoka juu hiyo chali. Kaniambia, I can't stay in this house na huyu. Siwezi. He broke glasses. He threatened, yani, and it's sio mimi peke yangu nimethreateniwa kuuliwa, by the way. Akona hiyo tabia. And then he goes out there telling people, sijui, even if I do kill you, yani nitaenda kukuficha na kuna mtu atajua na sitaulizwa. He didn't want to be left, you see, because ni kama hakuwa amepanga his next move. Umeona? So the way it ended actually was a day tulikuwa na beste yangu na yake kwa nyumba. And my son, like my youngest son, vile tu nakwambia, he's that type of energetic type of boy. So he used to cheza na yeye, akichukua simu yake, akitembea nayo, you know, but he didn't used to do anything with it, you know. So kumbe hiyo usiku that now the vurugano happened, he was pangaing with some mama fulani, I don't know kama ni police officer ama ni mumamas, lakini na alikuwa na sura mbaya, guy, my Jesus, oh lo. Hapa niliona tu standards zimeanguka kabisa. Na sio kwa ubaya. But kumbe now, that night that my son had taken the phone kucheza nayo na nini, alikuwa amepanga kutoka kwa nyumba yangu kwenda kupatana na huyu dame behind my back, kuniambia that he's going to go with huyu best alikuwa nayo kwa nyumba for sijui some enjoyment kwa nje. So when my son took his phone, akajam, yani he was so mad, akaenda kwake akaanza kumchuna. Then my son started screaming, you know. Nikamuuliza sasa shida iko wapi? Pana, your kids don't respect me, you can't not be respecting me, and pia your children can't respect me at the same time. Nikamwambia, sikia my friend, these children are not your children. Usiwahi guza mtoto yangu. Never. He said na wacha alie, nitamfanyia hivyo tena. And imagine he did. He went akachuna mtoto yangu. My small young boy, imagine. Again, akaanza kulia. Mimi nikamwambia haya, sasa mali imefika, utatoka kwa hii nyumba. Like you will get out of this. Then my eldest son, vile tu nakwambia, he doesn't talk much, but he hears and feels so much. Unajua that emotional anger uko ndani. Akamuka kwa meza because they were eating supper. It was around 7:30. Akamuka, he came to the couch, akarukia sasa this guy. Na akamwambia mimi sio Adam, sasa Adam is my youngest son. Na hutatuongelesha vile anataka. Akaanza kurusha mamikono because he was so enraged that akaona umeenda kuumiza ndugu yangu for nothing. You know? What the hell is that for? Kama nani? You're not even our dad. Umeona? So akaanza kumwambia hivyo, you're not even our dad, we hate you, sijui nini na nini na nini. And I had to go in between actually both of them to stop them from mavurugana, because even this idiot, knowing that this son of mine is only 11 years old, still wants to physically fight him kama yani mtu mkubwa, umeona? So he started pulling him. I told him, what the hell is wrong with you? Si hata beste yake Bahati alikuwa nyuma yake, akamvuruta with his shirt na akamwambia tulia, this is just a kid, you know? After that, aki nilikuwa nimewaka moto. I told him, you will get out of this house, go and pack your stuff. Akasema hata hii story staki, sijui na nini. Haya, the phone that he was using at the time ilikuwa yangu. I bought it for him. Sawa? Juu kuna siku ingine tulienda Habanos, akaclaim simu yake iliibiwa. Mimi kama nani, mimi nakuanga mjinga when I'm in love. That's why right now, relationships, hell no, it's a no-go zone. So the phone the guy was using is the one that I had bought him. Akaenda kapack vitu zake nini. Akasema anaenda. I told him haina shida, wewe enda. Leave, sawa? Akaweka vitu zake, then he went outside. Kumbe kwenda nje akaenda kupigia huyo dame kumwambia sasa tumekosana na nini and I'm coming. This lady, I don't know, was in Langata barracks or something. So vile niliona alienda nje, niliassume ameenda because I didn't see that bag until ya mwisho nikifunga mlango. So then I went outside. Nikitoka tu nje, akazima simu akaweka kwa nini his pocket. Then I told him, sasa unaficha nini? Umekuwa ukiongea na nani? Like, I know you're mad and whatever, ama ni Uber umeitisha. Akaanza kunidanganya, hapana hiyo ni beste yangu. Nikamwambia saa onyesha simu basi. Because I had already known that there was something amekuwa amepanga, because that's so not the way he normally reacts, ndio. Nikamwambia nionyeshe simu basi. Akakataa. So from there nikasema haya, I know your plans, your agendas and what you're doing. So sasa, hiyo simu unipe, toa sim card yako, take your things and just leave. Na amani, I don't want to fight with you because I've been through too much of this muvuruganos anyway. Just live in peace, yani. We end this evil. Akakataa, akasema hii simu hapana. I tore that phone from his pocket. Nika slide down my stairs, nikavunja hiyo simu. I have it even up to now so that he can't use it. Sawa? Juu alinionyesha madharau already by going and torturing my children. Now again anataka kutoka na vitu which are not even his, you know, just purely, as you've said, it's either taking advantage and using and abusing. Yani that's all he was there for. Kunitumia tu kama takataka. And this time I said, I'm not fathoming, like after baby daddy's situation, I just said, I'm not going to fathom anymore, like, than a day of abuse. Umeona, especially sasa when it even includes my kids, wacha tu, iishe tu, hapo. So see, I smashed the phone, I did everything. Akaingia, akatoa beste yake, akasema, sasa waende. Nikamwambia, yeah, you guys will leave. So ikafika point sasa now, akasema atoki bila hiyo simu. I told him the phone is already smashed, sindio? You're not going with it. Akasema hapana, nitaenda nitaitengeneza because everything of mine is inside that phone. Nikamwambia uendi nayo. This phone is mine. Hata receipt ndio hii. I'm the one who bought it na nini. It got to the extent I had to go and call security from the gate. Even them enyewe could not tow him from that house. They had to call backup security kukuja kumtoa kwa nyumba. But before that happened, hata wafike, because I didn't want him to enter back to the house just in case aende afanye vituko zingine huko, and with already the tabias that I knew he had of kunitolea makisu na nini, and then my kids were there. I just told the security, wacha tu tukae nje, by the time the backup wafike, wakuje wamchukue waende. So the time sasa nimesimama nje, because obviously he's so enraged, he's angered, yani ajielewi, akaanza kunipiga mbele ya the security, na akiniambia, na wewe msichana, sijawahi kukupiga, but leo wacha nikupige na watu pia wajue mimi naweza kukuua, na nikikuua leo nobody will know, na kuna mahali nitapelekwa. Those are his exact words. Even today tukienda to my gate with those same security guards, watarudia the same things that guy used to tell me. So after that akanipiga, the backup security came. Mimi nilikuwa huko nikisimama kumwambia shida yako ni gani sasa. You're the one who started this fight, uka-initiate, uko na plan zako, endelea nazo, but don't ever come back to my house again, and don't ever think watoto za wenyewe ni watoto wako, you can just guza them how you feel. The backup security came, ikakuwa tu tena issue. Ati he started giving those security guards issues. Ati wewe hujui mimi ni nani, huwezi nitoa hapa, sitoki, I don't know what. Akamwambia you will leave right now, ama tukuitia polisi yani. They had to like shake him up a bit jo atoke. After he left, akaanza kunitafuta, aki I'm sorry. The next day ananipigia with that same day alienda kupatana na yeye kwa simu, akiniambia sijui I've left excuses tu ya kusema sijui amewacha ID, hata hakuwa na ID, ati amewacha ID kwa nyumba yangu, iko wapi anahitaji. Tukatafuta in the whole house with those security, hatukuipata. Yani he started now regretting what he had initiated and started. But at the same time alienda kulala na huyu msichana, sijui mara akona huyu, his exes of the even before mimi sasa wakaanza kunipigia kusema this guy started looking for me again, nimesikia mumeachana, what happened, na si tulikuambia. So yani he has that toxic cycle ndani yake, where he has that tabia of finding somebody anaona akona pesa ama anaweza mweka, he uses them, abuses. Hadi alinidanganya sijui he needed, I don't know, it was 40k to go and toa somebody from the cell, wa relative yake, sijui ilikuwa cousin ama sijui what, aliniambia. Akaniomba, and me I had that gut feeling nisimpe. It took me until 11 p.m. on a night ndio nikamtumanishia on Mpesa, nikamwambia sawa. Akaniambia nitakurudishia kesho. Hadi leo hiyo 40k plus hiyo 20k hiyo simu nilimbaia, and then ikaenda kuharibika juu ya vitu kwa tu zake. So he has my 60k out there and he's proud. Akienda kusema nitakulipia, I will. Hata hiyo ni pesa kidogo, kama ni pesa kidogo si anilipe basi. Anyway, that was that situation, and since then I have been single, and let me tell you, nitabaki single. I'm telling you, relationships na Mzungu Mjanjez, but they have made me call Mjanja. That's why that's how my name is what it is, because now I've come to see attributes, characteristics za watu, the way people play mind games, ama wako tamu na mdomo, lakini in real life actions speak louder than words, you know. So I have to say, yes, my 20s have been like the toughest years of my life. Obviously, raising my children, enduring the physical abuse from my baby daddy, getting into another relationship, being treated sijui aje. Mina unajua saa zingine nakaanga chini nikisema mimi ni fala. I'm just stupid. But anyway, for my next phase, now that I am 30, turning 31 in June, what I would change right now is I'll be more aware, I think, of the type of people that I associate with. I will also be more cautious on just basically everything. Who I'm with, attributes, characteristics of people. I'll be more aware of like actions of people more than be taken aback by words of what people say, you know. Because I myself might also go out there and be like, yeah, I will love you with like my utmost everything. But when it gets to the point that I can't, maybe because I'm unable either, because it's because of work, ama you just do kitu inaniudhi tu yani, and that love is just not there. I would have danganyad you, right, kukwambia that I'll do ABC, but in the end sijafanya hivyo. And I think just being more self-aware, more cautious, and yani, I think I want to focus on myself and my children now. And also give my children a life that they deserve, you know, show them a totally different aspect of how life can be, should be, and make them also proud to know that also mom has really done her best to take us from where we were to put us to now where they will be, you know. Show them that aspect of life that even though things might have been tough, there is a good or a better side to life than maybe what they've been through and what they've endured. And also for myself, like to give myself that, should I say, that praise and that time just to, you know, reflect on what has happened, everything that I've been through, see where I want to head now, obviously, because now I have a clear mind, I have peace, I have everything that I wished for, I think, back then, or what I should have had back then is what I have now. And I think it'll help me make better decisions and hopefully progress in a positive way than being taken aback by small things, by a human being involved in my life. I don't regret having my children. I love my children. I just wish I had them with a better person, because I feel I could be in a totally different space and maybe having even like maybe 4 kids by now and happily married and maybe be somewhere totally different in life right now if it wasn't for the setbacks and the drawbacks that I had with the person that I had my children with. The time that I was going through everything that I was going through was my peak time to shine, let's say. So now maybe all the effort that I'm putting in life and in everything that I'm doing right now, it's as much as I can give for the circumstances that I'm in. But if I'd given as much energy and enthusiasm and the place where I'm at right now, I could have been in those years ago, I do feel I would be in a much better place or in a higher position in life than I am right now. But I do say that drawbacks are setbacks for comebacks. So I'm hoping that my future ahead, not too far ahead, in the near future, will give me that ability now, because I've got obviously like the peace and my children are now big boys. I have more leeway to be able to do more things, maybe explore like I could have done back then, maybe travel a bit, you know, open different doors and experience new things with different people. And maybe there's my shining star out there that'll reach me in good time, and I'll be able to still be proud of myself in the way that I would have been back then if I was given the chance to shine at that time as well. So what keeps me going is my children. Like, I know that they'll always be there for me and they will always love me, regardless of whether I'm down in the dumps or I am in the Guinness World Book of Records. My children will always be beside me. And I think also the fact that everything that I've been through with them, we've come so far together, and I just know that there is a bright future ahead of us. Like, the far we've come, it hasn't been easy. And now, because things are now getting easier or a bit lighter on, let's say, on a lighter note, that I don't have all that extra pressure and that extra stress from the toxicity and, let's say, negativity, I feel that we've come from far, and we still have a whole like long road ahead of us, but a positive road. So waking up in the morning to know that my children are still standing strong with mama, and I get back home to them to know that I've gone out to work for them, they are my motivation, my children. Yes. So Mzungu Mjanjez right now, as I said, I've just opened, like a month ago, I've opened my YouTube channel. So I'm hoping to get more into that, start posting over there. I will excite you and entice you guys with lots of things, from traveling to cooking, omena or maugali. Like I just tried to do juicy. Nimeona comment section mumenichoma huko, but it's okay. Also so maybe like family outings with the boys. So that's my new adventure, going into YouTube. Obviously, I'm used to doing the small skits of like 3 minutes, but now being on YouTube, it's things for 45 minutes to hours. So it'll be a whole new ball game for me, but I'm looking forward to doing that. And then maybe at the same time opening if it's a studio or just somewhere that other creators, maybe young creators who are inspired by either my story or seeing where I've come from to where I am now, to also come and teach them or work together with them to get them to either start their own brand as well, and to enjoy doing content like other creators do out there as well. So I just want to thank you guys so much for listening to me for, I don't know how long it's been that we've been on here. I mean, for me, time seems to have passed quite fast, but I appreciate all the viewers, and I appreciate you as well also for hosting me on your YouTube and your channel basically. If you do have a man in your life and he's treating you good, big ups to you men as well, because I know not all men are bad men out there. And I do understand that also women can be on the opposite side as well and be in the wrong, let's say. So just my one word of advice is never stay too long where you feel like you're not appreciated and accepted. And always never settle for less, Yani. Know your worth. Go get whatever you guys want to get. You can do it alone. You can do it together. You can make it in life, Yani. Anything that starts off bad can only get better. And it only gets better, guys. Team Mzungu Mjanjez forever. Thank you.